Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into a report that might sound as exciting as watching grass grow. But trust me, there are some things here you'll want to know about. We are decoding a filing from the Federal Home Loan Bank of Topeka, which sounds like a snooze fest, but we're focusing on how they manage money. Think of it as peeking under the hood of a car to see how it really runs. You might be surprised what you find. So this report is about how the Federal Home Loan Bank of Topeka, we can call it FHLBank for short, raises money. They're basically borrowing cash so they can help other banks give out loans. It's like they're the bank for the banks. We'll see how they do it, what it costs them, and whether it's something worth paying attention to. Before we jump in, show us some love by subscribing. Also, we have that Discord channel linked below. Feel free to join. First off, this report is as of July 20, 2025. That's the date they're telling the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, about these events. These filings are important because the law says these guys must keep the SEC informed. Okay, let's get to the meat of the matter. This section talks about something called consolidated obligations. Basically, it's how FHLBank gets most of its money, by selling bonds and notes. They're like IOUs that the bank sells to investors, promising to pay them back later with interest. Now, here's where it gets interesting. These consolidated obligations are not just FHLBank's responsibility. They are the joint responsibility of all 11 federal home loan banks. Also, the finance agency can make any federal home loan bank pay if another one can't. This is important because it means that if one of these banks is in trouble, the others might have to step in. It's like having 11 people co-sign a loan. If one can't pay, then the others have to chip in. The report also mentions that these obligations are backed by the financial resources of all the federal home loan banks, but they aren't guaranteed by the United States government. So if things go south, it's up to these banks to sort it out themselves. This part gets into the details of what the bank is issuing or taking on. It's like an inventory list of their debt, and we are focusing on that exact schedule right now. Now, they're saying that although this stuff is important to them, they aren't judging whether specific obligations are significant. They also say they might use complicated agreements called interest rate exchange agreements. These are also called derivatives to manage their money, but they're not talking about those here. The banks use these agreements to protect themselves in case interest rates change. The filing also notes that the details they present don't show the whole picture. For example, they don't mention short-term debts with maturity date of less than 1 year, or how they are using proceeds from the bond. Also, their principal amounts don't reflect discounts or premiums. Alright, time for the good stuff. Let's dive into Schedule A. We'll focus on the main deals. Active this table lists bonds and notes that the federal home loan banks plan to issue. The first row shows that on July 20, 2025, they made a deal for a note with the code TT325. It's due on January of 2026. This is a non-callable note and is worth about $500 million. The second line shows another deal dated July 2025 with code T43130B6XX9. It's due in July of 2027, so a little longer term. This is for $15 million, and they can choose to pay it off earlier if they want to. The coupon rate or interest paid is 4.25%. Finally, there's a deal from July 3, 2025, code EKR31AN30B6YB6 Axioxy, due in early 2026. Like the first one, it's not callable and amounts to $500 million. Basically, the bank is issuing short-term bonds and notes to make money. The rest of the document is just definitions for all kinds of bonds. We are not going to cover those as it is not really important or interesting. Feel free to read them yourself, of course. Finally, some legal signatures. According to law, Brad Gentry from the bank has signed off on this report. Now, what can we take away from all of this? The Federal Home Loan Bank of Topeka is actively borrowing significant amounts of money through bonds and notes. The fact that this bank does this isn't too eye-opening. It's their business. However, understanding how these banks operate and manage their finances is crucial, especially given their role in the larger economy. The reliance on consolidated obligations means there's a shared risk among the federal home loan banks. If one bank stumbles, the others might have to pick up the slack. But keep in mind that this shared risk is contained within the system of federal home loan banks and is not backed by the US government. Also, the fact that they're using complex setups to protect their assets shows they're thinking ahead, but also shows they have to manage risks. The details in Schedule A give a snapshot of their borrowing activity, but they aren't the whole story. We don't see the complete picture of their debt or how they're managing interest rate risks. What's your take on the FHLBank's financial moves and what they mean for the broader market? Share your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis helped you understand a complex topic, hit that like button and subscribe for more breakdowns. And hey, come hang out with us on Discord. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next Corporate Decoder video.